This is a video about a Bohemian Czech Pilsner that my father and I brewed today. We started off using the Brew app, calculate some hop additions. My hops were 2.2% instead of 4.5%. We copied the recipe over to paper. Okay. Proceeded to scoop into a small bucket for weighing. This ended up taking 2 bucketfuls to get to our final weight of 11 pounds 8 ounces, so 11.5 pounds of malt. This is a smash beer with only a single malt and a single hop. The hop additions ended up being double what I thought and what I'm used to adding, just due to the low alpha acids. We added a total of 6 ounces. We just got a new mill to mill this. Cool. Can you see down there? Yes, yes. This was a really cool view, seeing the last bit of the grain go down. We did this twice, but I got such a kick out of it, had to record it the second time. This is the final bag. My dad's going to take it and I think hang it up in his office. We got the flame going and started to heat up the temperature. Our tap water is about 80 degrees in the summertime. It was about 93 degrees today. I think it was probably in the 80s when we started this morning. Pretty quickly we got up to our strike temperature of about 151 degrees. We were being assisted by my dog Dottie. She was supervising. We began to dough in our milled grains and mix it up. This was pretty fun. This was the largest grain bill that I had mixed in, but we also had a little over 7 gallons of water heated up too. So this is one of the largest boils and one of the largest mashes that I've done to date. So we held it at that 150, 145 temperature range for about 45 minutes. We extracted some wort to test to see if there was any protein still present. The idea is to convert the proteins into sugar. To do that, we used iodine. I was able to pick iodine up at CVS, just a small little eyedropper. The idea is we drop that in, and in the presence of protein, it'll be red or purple.
Yeah, purple. Purple, yep. Nice.
This is our brew setup this morning. My dad and my dog, the brew kettle, and our counterflow chillers sitting there waiting. Have not connected that up yet.
Nice. Why nice?
Throughout the mash, we continued to test. We took gravity readings using a refractometer. Finally, on the second protein test, it looked like we were getting pretty close. Also, taking one last gravity reading, we were right at our target of 1042. I think this ended up being about 1042 and a half or so. So we stopped the boil early and took the bag out. We did the boil in a bag method. I think we had about 45 minutes in, but we reached our gravity and the iodine test said we had converted most of the proteins over to sugar. So in the interest of time, we pulled it and restarted the flame. At this point, we pulled some of the wort out and threw it in the freezer to cool it down. This became dog beer. I took this beer over to my dog and called her, and she was quite
Want some dog
pleased.
beer, Daddy? Come on.
Once we reached a boil, and we waited for a bit more than this, I took out the first 2 ounces of Saaz hops and pitched them. We had a total of 1 hour on that first hop addition. We mixed it up. And then it was time for a pizza break. After having pizza, we added the 30-minute addition, which was another 2 ounces of Saaz hops. And then the third at 15 minutes, which was yet another 2 ounces. At this point, we started to set up the chiller so I could run some hot wort through it to sanitize, getting everything connected here. At the 10-minute mark or thereabout, I primed the pump.
Nice.
We cranked up the heat on the kettle and we started to recirculate.
Yep.
Again, not cooling at this point, just to sanitize the counterflow chiller, the pump, and all the tubes. At this point, we added our additions, which were 1 Whirlflock tablet and about 1 tablespoon of Yeast nutrient. And we began to chill. We kept the counterflow running back directly into the brew kettle, and so the results on the temperature in the brew kettle were not great. They come down rather slowly. However, the return tube is cool enough to touch. And so at this point, we started to move that wort into a bucket fermenter. And this was about 80 degrees coming out of the counterflow chiller. Again, we have about 80-degree tap water here in Florida. We cleaned up, which I did not record. That's not very fun. Came back, and the wort cooled down below 60 degrees. At this point, I felt pretty comfortable aerating it and pitching it. I spent a good amount of time aerating the wort in my chest freezer. And after that, I pitched the yeast. This took 2 packets of S23. Seal it up and leave it to ferment. Thanks for watching my brew day.